Hey guys, Thorn here, and for today I got you a little advice on how to build a really cheap gaming computer for beginners. I'll start off showing you the easiest way to find a good base point for a computer. So usually I'll just go on eBay, and what I'll usually search up is office computers or office PC. A lot of time you'll find these older Dell Optiplex or HP small form factors or whatever. And what you can do, if you find one with like a full-size micro TX case or whatever, you can usually find out by the backside it looks similar to this. If you find one like that, and for a good price with a decent processor, I would try to avoid anything lower than like a 8th gen Intel. But if you're going super cheap, you can get it like an 8th gen or 7th or 6th gen Intel if you're really pushing it. However, if you really take a look and spend some time, you can find something like this. So what I found today, I found a Dell Optiplex 3080 with a Core i5-10500. It's a 6-core 12-thread 4.5 gigahertz processor, very quick to any like 8th gen 9th gen processor. It only has 8 gigs of RAM. It has no hard drive, but if you want to tinker in the future, this is like perfect for you, because then you can buy your own hard drive or buy your own SSD, buy your own graphics card, upgrade the RAM and whatnot. But the one thing you'll have an issue is if you do want to upgrade it in the future, the cooling isn't great, but you can add more RAM pretty easily. It's just a RAM stick, and the graphics card is always easy to add in. You can see right there. But yeah, let's start this off. So I got this one. I didn't buy it, but I found this one for 101 plus $41 shipping. That total is 142.01 cents. And then what you can do, I guess we'll start off with a SSD. So basically all you need for it to actually start working is an SSD. So on PC Part Picker, I found this Team Group T-Force Vulcan 480 gig SSD. It's a pretty solid SSD. It's cheap, but it's decently reliable from what I've read stories about. You can get it for about $27.99 with Prime shipping, so free shipping with Newegg or Amazon. 480 gig SSD, and then you can just install Windows on this. You don't even have to pay for Windows if you don't want to. I don't. There's no reason for me to. But yeah, so you can have a working PC for under $200 US that's got a good processor. And then if you want to make it better, you can add another 8 gigs of RAM. I found this on PC Part Picker as well. Just another 8 gig stick of DDR4 2666. It's CL16, so it's actually not, it's got pretty good latency. I chose that RAM specifically because if you look at the system info, it actually says it's using 2666 megahertz RAM, and you want to match it generally speaking, and that'll be pretty solid. And you can actually see on here the processor and whatnot. One thing you have to be careful about if you do start pricing out something like this and you do intend to buy it, when you're selecting an SSD, I would double check to see if the motherboard itself supports an NVMe SSD, because if it does, you can get a very good deal on one of those recently, and it's quite a bit faster and easier to install than a SATA SSD in my opinion, since it doesn't need power or SATA. Alright, so let's get to the last part of it. So if you're building an office PC like this, a lot of the time the power supplies don't have external power for a graphics card. They don't support a 6-pin or an 8-pin power connector at all. Sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't. What I would suggest is going on PC Part Picker, and depending on your budget, you can get, there's a lot of GPUs that don't need external power. So if you get an RTX 3050 6GB, you have to make sure you get the 6GB, because that one doesn't need external power, whereas the 8 gig does. I mean, this one's on sale right now on B&H, so it's pretty cheap for $167. But all that combined, you'll have a very solid computer that can play most games. You wouldn't be able to play it at like 1440p 4K or ultra or high settings, but you'd be able to play almost any of the new games at 1080p medium, 1080p high even. I mean, you could play CS2, you could play pretty much anything you want without too much stuttering, and I mean that's only 377 bucks. That's pretty solid. You can play PUBG, you can whatever game you can think of, you can probably play it at 1080p. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked what I did here, feel free to drop a like and subscribe for more. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.